The message came through our family group chat on a Tuesday afternoon in November. My younger brother Jake had found a cabin in the mountains for our annual Christmas trip. 8 days, skiing, family time, the whole tradition we'd kept going for nearly a decade. I was scrolling through the thread, dates, costs, bedroom assignments, when the follow-up message appeared. Sorry, the cabin only sleeps 8. You understand, right? The kids need their own space. I stared at my phone. 8 people. My parents, Jake and his wife, their 2 kids, my sister Emma, and her husband. That was 8. I was number 9. The group chat went silent. No one objected. No one suggested I take the couch or that the kids could share a room. Just silence. And then the conversation moved on to what groceries to buy. I typed, "Understood," and put my phone face down on my desk. This wasn't new. Last year, they'd said the trip was too expensive to add another person. The year before, Jake had assumed I'd be working through the holidays anyway. Each time, I'd nodded along. Each time, I'd found somewhere else to be, something else to do, some way to be flexible. That's who I'd always been. The flexible one. The one who adjusted. The one who didn't complain when plans shifted around me like I was a satellite, not a planet. An hour later, another message popped up. "Can you chip in for Mom and Dad's gift? Thinking a new espresso machine. $400, split 7 ways. 7 ways, not 8. They'd factored me in for the bill, just not for the trip. I sat there for a long time, phone in hand, watching the messages pile up about grocery lists and ski rentals and who was driving. And something inside me that had been bending for years finally straightened. I opened a new browser tab. I spent 15 minutes looking at flights, then another 10 browsing hotels. I wasn't angry. I was just done pretending that accommodating everyone else was the same thing as being valued. Switzerland came up first. A boutique hotel in the Alps near Montreux with a Christmas market and views of Lake Geneva. Adults only. Spa, Michelin-starred restaurant on site. I checked the dates. December 22nd through the 29th. The exact same week as the family trip. The family cabin, split 7 ways, would have cost me about $400. This trip would cost $2,800. I booked it. I didn't announce it. I didn't ask permission. I didn't loop anyone in for feedback. I just clicked confirm and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. The specific kind of lightness that comes from choosing yourself. I added the spa package. Private ski lessons on Christmas Eve. A wine tasting on the 26th. A reservation at the hotel restaurant for Christmas dinner. I built an itinerary that had nothing to do with compromise. When the group chat pinged again, "Who's handling the gift?" I typed back, "I'll send something directly to Mom and Dad this year." No explanation, no justification, just a boundary, clean and clear. I requested the time off from work. I'd been saving PTO for years, always the one covering shifts during the holidays so colleagues with kids could take time off. I had 17 days banked. I used 8. The trip was real now. Flights booked, hotel confirmed, itinerary printed. I folded the papers and tucked them into my desk drawer, and for the first time in years, I looked forward to Christmas. The question started a week before the trip. Jake texted me privately, "Hey, can you pick up that bourbon Dad likes? The one from the distillery near you?" I replied, "I won't be around. Sorry." 3 dots appeared, disappeared. No follow-up. 2 days later, Emma called. "Are you working through Christmas?" Her tone had that edge of pity I'd heard before, the assumption that I'd be spending the holiday alone at my apartment, reheating leftovers and watching movies. "No," I said. "I took the week off." "Oh, so what are you doing?" "I have plans." "Plans?" She sounded surprised. "With who?" "Just a trip." I kept my voice light. "Have a great time at the cabin. I'll call Mom and Dad on Christmas. Wait, where are you going? I should go, Em. Talk soon. I hung up before she could press further. The group chat lit up that evening. I didn't check it right away. I was packing. But when I finally opened my phone, the thread had moved from logistics to speculation. Emma. Is she upset? Jake. We explained the cabin situation. She said she understood. My mom. Should we call her? Dad. Let's just give her space. No one tagged me. No one asked me directly. They were talking around me the way they always had. I didn't reply. I didn't owe them an explanation. For once, they could sit with not knowing. My mom called the next morning. Honey, where will you be for Christmas? You're not staying home alone, are you? I have plans, Mom. Don't worry about me. What plans? Her voice sharpened. With who? Just a trip. I'll call you Christmas Day. She paused. I could hear her trying to decide whether to push. Okay, well, be safe. I will. I hung up and finished packing. I posted a single photo to Instagram the morning of December 22nd. The airport lounge, a glass of champagne on the table in front of me. The caption read, "Sometimes the best gift is the one you give yourself." I kept the image vague. No gate numbers, no airline logos, just the champagne and the soft lighting of the lounge. Within 10 minutes, the group chat exploded. Emma. Where are you going? Jake. Are you traveling alone? Mom. Sweetie, are you okay? I didn't respond. I turned my phone to airplane mode and boarded my flight. Meanwhile, though I wouldn't learn the details until later, Jake's family was packing their SUV in chaos. One of the kids couldn't find their stuffed animal. Emma's husband was complaining about the 6-hour drive. They'd forgotten the grocery list and had to stop twice. When they finally arrived at the cabin, the kids immediately started fighting over bedrooms. Emma's husband took one look at the pull-out couch in the living room, where my parents would be sleeping, and muttered something about tight quarters. I landed in Zurich 7 hours later. The car service the hotel had arranged was waiting, 50 minutes through the snow-lit roads, and I was checking into a room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Alps. I took a photo, the fireplace, the mountain view, the bottle of champagne and chocolate-covered strawberries waiting on the table. I posted it with a single word, perfect. Then I poured myself a glass, sank into the armchair by the fire, and felt the kind of peace I hadn't felt in years. Christmas Eve morning, the cabin's heating system broke. I found this out later through Emma, but apparently the temperature dropped to 50 degrees overnight. Jake called a repair service. The earliest they could come was the 26th. The kids were cold and bored. There were no planned activities, just the assumption that family time would be enough. It wasn't. By mid-morning, they were fighting over the one working TV. My parents, sleeping in the living room on the pull-out couch, had no privacy and no escape. My dad mentioned wanting to take a walk, but the weather had turned and no one wanted to go with him. Emma's husband, wrapped in a blanket at the kitchen table, said loudly, "I don't know why we spent $800 on this." Meanwhile, I was walking through the Christmas market in Montreux. Wooden stalls selling handmade ornaments, roasted chestnuts, mulled wine, and ceramic mugs you could keep as souvenirs. The air smelled like cinnamon and pine. Lights were strung between the stalls, casting everything in gold. I posted a photo, the market, the lake in the background, the mountains beyond. An hour later, I posted again, a table at the hotel restaurant, 5 courses, wine pairings, a view of the snow falling outside the window, and then, just before midnight, I posted one more. A small chapel in the village, stone walls and stained glass, where a local orchestra was performing a Christmas Eve service. The music was so beautiful I cried. My mom commented on the post, "This looks beautiful, honey. You're really alone?" I replied, "Wonderfully alone." I turned my phone off after that. I didn't need to see the rest. Christmas morning at the cabin was tense. The kids were overstimulated and exhausted. The adults had slept poorly. The cold, the lack of space, the simmering frustration that no one wanted to name. They opened gifts in the living room. My parents tried to keep the energy light, but halfway through my mom said, "I wish she was here." It was the first time anyone had said it out loud. Jake stiffened. She was invited. She chose not to come. Emma looked at him. "You told her there wasn't room." "There wasn't room for everyone to be comfortable." "But she's comfortable enough now, isn't she?" Emma gestured toward her phone, where my Instagram story was still visible. She paid for a luxury hotel instead of being uncomfortable with us. The room went quiet. My dad looked at my mom. My mom looked at her hands. They were starting to understand. I didn't know any of this yet. I was on my balcony, eating room service breakfast in a cashmere robe, watching the sun rise over the mountains. I'd bought myself a gift, a smartwatch I'd been eyeing for months but never felt justified in purchasing. I unboxed it slowly, savoring the moment. No one to split my attention, no one to accommodate, just me, and a choice I'd made for myself. I posted a photo of the watch, the mountains in the background. My mom called. I didn't answer. I was at the spa, getting a massage, my phone on Do Not Disturb. When I finally checked my messages hours later, there was a voicemail. "Honey, call me back. I want to talk about next year. We should plan better." Her voice was different, not pitying, worried. I saved the voicemail but didn't return the call. Not yet. December 26th, the family tried to salvage the trip. Jake suggested they all go skiing. Half the group didn't want to. An argument broke out about how to spend the remaining days. Emma wanted to explore the town. Her husband wanted to stay in and relax. The kids wanted different things. Jake snapped. "This is exactly why I didn't want extra people. Too many opinions." Emma's head whipped around. "Extra people? You mean our sister?" My parents, sitting at the kitchen table, went very still. My dad spoke quietly. "We should have said something. We should have made room." Jake doubled down. "She's fine. Look at her Instagram. She's having a great time without us." Emma's voice was sharp. "That's the problem, Jake. She didn't need us. We needed her to be the flexible one. And now she's not." The group chat, which had been buzzing with messages for days, went silent. I was at an après-ski lounge, sitting by a fire with a glass of wine. I'd met a group of solo travelers the day before, a woman from Toronto, a man from Amsterdam, a couple from Sydney. We'd spent the afternoon skiing together, and now we were swapping stories about why we traveled alone. Someone took a photo. All of us, smiling, the fire glowing behind us. I posted it. "The best people come into your life when you make space for them." I didn't mean it as a message to my family, but when I checked the group chat later that night, I saw that no one had said a word since Emma's last text. We all returned home on the same day, December 28th. Jake's family looked exhausted. The kids were cranky from the long drive. My parents, according to Emma, barely spoke on the way back. Jake and his wife had argued about money, how much they'd spent on a trip that felt more like an endurance test than a vacation. Emma texted me privately that night. "I felt guilty the whole time. I should have said something." I didn't respond right away. I was unpacking, hanging up clothes that smelled like Swiss lavender from the hotel detergent, sorting through souvenirs I'd bought for myself. I posted a photo dump that evening. Highlights from the trip: the market, the chapel, the mountains, the meals, a genuine caption thanking the hotel, tagging the restaurant, sharing recommendations for other solo travelers. I saw the view counts tick up. My family had watched every single story. None of them replied. The next morning, I packaged the gifts I'd bought for my parents, a set of hand-painted ornaments from the Christmas market for my mom, a bottle of aged whiskey from a local distillery for my dad. I wrote a card in my neatest handwriting. Merry Christmas. Thank you for raising me to be independent. Love always. I meant it. I wasn't angry. I was just finished pretending that independence and invisibility were the same thing. Emma reached out on New Year's Eve. Can we talk? I feel awful about Christmas. We met for coffee 3 days later. She looked tired, but she didn't waste time. I'm sorry, she said. I stayed silent when I shouldn't have. Jake said there wasn't room, but we could have made it work. I think we're used to you being the flexible one. I stirred my coffee. I've always been flexible. This year, I decided to be flexible for myself. She teared up. Mom and Dad feel terrible. They didn't realize how it looked. How it looked? I said carefully. Or how it felt? Both. I don't know. Maybe they didn't think about it until you weren't there. I felt like I wasn't a priority, I said, and I've felt that way for a long time. Emma wiped her eyes. You've always been there for all of us. We took advantage. I took advantage. I'm not angry, I said. I'm just done accommodating my way out of my own life. She nodded. Jake wants to apologize too. Will you talk to him? I considered it. When he's ready to actually apologize, not just manage the awkwardness, I'll listen. Emma reached across the table and squeezed my hand. I squeezed back. Jake called 2 weeks later. I think I need to apologize for Christmas. I waited. The cabin thing, I didn't mean to make you feel excluded. But I was excluded, I said. That's not about feelings. It's about what happened. It was genuinely a space issue, he said, defensive. The kids. Jake, kids can share rooms. I could have taken the couch. This wasn't about logistics. Silence. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't want you to say anything specific, I said. I want you to think about why it was so easy to decide I was the one who didn't get to come. Another pause. It wasn't personal. That's the problem, I said quietly. It should have been. The conversation ended without resolution. I hung up feeling lighter, not heavier. I'd said what I needed to say. 2 days later, my parents sent a joint email. We'd like to host a family dinner to reconnect. Please come. I replied, I'll check my calendar and let you know. I didn't check my calendar. I just wanted them to sit with the fact that I might say no. February came, and then March. Jake asked if I could dog sit during his spring break trip. I have plans that weekend, I said. Sorry. I did have plans. A pottery class I'd signed up for. But even if I hadn't, the answer would have been the same. Mother's Day approached. In previous years, I'd coordinated the brunch, made the reservation, collected money, bought the flowers. This year, I didn't offer. Emma ended up organizing it. She did fine. I missed my niece's birthday party in April. It conflicted with my pottery class. I sent a gift and a card. Jake's wife texted me, "We missed you." I replied, "Sorry I couldn't make it. Hope she had a great day." Each time I said no, it got easier. Not because I cared less, but because I'd stopped believing that my worth was measured by my availability. The family group chat changed. Instead of assuming I'd show up, they started asking, Emma, are you free and willing to help with Dad's birthday dinner? Me, I can bring dessert, but I can't stay late. I have an early morning. It was small, but it was different. In late April, my parents invited me to dinner. Just the 3 of us. We sat in their backyard eating takeout, and my mom finally said it. I think we taught you to put everyone first, and then we benefited from that without questioning it. My dad nodded. We're proud of the person you are. We should have made sure you knew you were just as important as everyone else. I felt something crack open in my chest, but I didn't cry. I appreciate that, I said. I didn't forgive them on the spot, but I let them sit with me in the discomfort, and that felt like enough. A week later, I booked a trip to Greece. Solo. Mid-June. The same week the family had planned a beach trip. I didn't apologize. I just sent my regrets. October arrived. Emma created a new group chat. Planning next Christmas. Let's start early this year. The first message tagged everyone, including me. We're looking at a bigger cabin this year. Sleeps 10. We want to make sure you're included if you want to come. What dates work for you? Jake's message came next. I'll adjust the dates to whatever works for the most people, including you. My parents. We'd really love to have everyone together this year. I read the messages and didn't respond right away. Not to be difficult. I just needed to think. 3 days later, I replied, I appreciate being included in the planning. I've already booked a trip to Iceland to see the northern lights over Christmas. Same dates, but I'd love to do a family weekend in January instead, my treat for the cabin rental. I offered an alternative, one that centered my schedule, not theirs. Emma replied first, That sounds amazing. Let's plan it. Jake, January works? And thanks for giving us another chance. I typed carefully. This isn't about chances. It's about what kind of relationships we're building. No one argued. December came again. I was in Iceland, standing in the cold under a sky streaked with green. The northern lights moved like silk, shifting and glowing, and I cried, not from sadness, from relief. My phone buzzed. A text from Emma. A photo of the family at the cabin. Everyone smiling. The tree lit up in the background. Missing you, but so glad you're doing your thing. Can't wait for January. I replied, Miss you too. Looks like a great trip. See you soon. I put my phone away and looked back at the sky. A year ago, I'd been excluded, dismissed, made small. Now, I was here. And my family was there. And both of those things were okay. I'd traveled to 4 countries in the past year, started pottery, learned to say no without apology, built a life that didn't require me to shrink. The best gift wasn't being included. It was knowing I didn't need permission to include myself in my own life. The lights above me shifted, brighter now, and I smiled. I was exactly where I needed to be.